Mommy, Daddy, look at me. I went to school and I got a degree. All my friends call it the big D. I went to school and I got the big D. 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 I went to school and I got the big D.
That was unexpected. I'm not familiar with that song, so I didn't know where it was going.
You're welcome. Let's read into that whatever you will. Just
Yeah, that's a wonderful song for exam week.
I mean, yeah. I figured that was the whole point of why I picked it, Jason, where I was like, this
My
is great.
phone is ringing. Let me put it on ignore real quick.
I didn't even notice until you had mentioned that. I'm like, oh, well, okay. So, hey guys, this is
Hello.
week 6. It took me a minute. We are not going to try and bug you, all right, because we know you have an exam. We just wanted to give you guys just like a usual stability, continuous moment, continuous. I am not having a stroke. I am fine. I am ready to proceed. We just wanted to kind of give. Yeah, I am not a cat. I am not a tombstone. Just I am not. We just wanted to kind of hit you up and remind you of a couple of things so you can stay on top of the work, okay? Because many of you have talked about like it's hard to remember deadlines, and we get it. So that's what the purpose of this weekly wrap-up video is. Your exam has already gone live. It went live Wednesday. It closes this Sunday, February 20th. Make sure you have it completed and submitted before 11 p.m. that night. So if you choose to wait until Sunday night to do the exam, okay, we are not going to judge. We are, however, going to give you a very stern warning. Okay. The bandwidth at Bethel seems to kick the bucket Sundays because I guess people go home, they come back. So you need to plan, although we designed the exam to be an hour and 15 minutes long. Okay, 1 hour and 15 minutes. You might want to plan for 2 hours. So if the exam is due by 11, you might want to try and get it started by like 8.
Yeah.
And then that way you can be done at 10. And that way, in case you run into bandwidth issues or whatever, you have an hour buffer. All right. I can do math. I promise. I realize 8 to 11 is 3 hours, but I'm saying you might want to start early. And that way, in case the bandwidth or God knows what happens, that you've given yourself a buffer of a comfort space of an hour to handle whatever technical issues you may have.
And the way that the form itself is designed, you've got that multiple choice section that when you open it, that's all you're going to be able to see. So if your plan was to like knock out the written portion and then try to get those multiple choice questions done afterward, it doesn't quite work in that way. So yeah, the earlier you get started, the better, so that you've got plenty of time to knock out those questions. And then as you're presented with those essay prompts, you've got a little more time to think it over before trying to write those things down. But yeah, good luck with it. We know it's a beast, particularly the first one, because you've got what, 5 weeks of material being covered by that exam. It's a bit of a doozy. And for many of you, it may be the first time you're doing one of these. Do your best. Maybe leave Google out of the equation. Please do not plagiarize your essays. There's nothing more annoying than reading something and realizing that you're just getting something that was copied and pasted regurgitated back to you.
Yeah, like for example, please don't talk to me about when Adam and Eve ate the apple in Paradise Lost, or when Eve runs away from Adam in Paradise Lost, because I didn't make you read that at all.
Mhm.
So that's like a big indicator to me whenever students do that, when they start talking about literature that was not assigned to them, that I'm like, well, this should be fun. So for example, whenever I cover like Viking literature, Norse literature in 201, I assign this little specific moment in Beowulf. And students will overwhelmingly talk about when he goes to fight the dragon, because I go nuts for it in the lecture. Like I just fangirl and I'm like frothing at the mouth rabid about how awesome this moment is. And that's not the thing that's assigned. It's actually whenever they're going into the woods after Grendel had attacked the first time.
Yeah.
So, focus, if you're gonna pick that for my prompt, like maybe focus on the one that was assigned, which is when Lucifer is got his ass kicked and he's like falling and falling and falling, and then boom, lands into this place and becomes Satan. He's no longer Lucifer. So like you might want to focus on that. Just putting that out there. And then don't talk to me about Shakespeare's Hamlet or Ophelia, because I didn't assign that. So that's probably not going to go well for you. Let's stay on track. Okay. So everything that you have on the exams, technically we've given to you with Professor Cole's lectures, my lectures. You have access to those like slides, guys.
Yeah.
You have access to those videos, although you should have already watched them before you begin the exam. And as long as you are paying attention to what the prompt says, you should be fine. Although I mentioned it in my video, and I'm assuming, Jason, you probably mentioned as well. You don't have to freak yourselves out if you don't spell the people's names correctly. Like if you completely space out and you're like, it's a guy whose name starts with the C that ends in an N. Is it Cuban? Is it Corbin? Is it come on, man? Just get to the point. Just like describe it in a way so I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, because there were plenty of times, excuse me, when we were teaching this class in the classroom, where a student would be writing and would just space on a name, and I'd get things like, I don't remember her name, but she was the one who painted the awesome pictures of the guy getting his head cut off. I'm like, all right, sure, I know who you're talking about. You're talking about Artemisia Gentileschi. Got it. So yeah, that's perfectly fine. Things that are not perfectly fine is like copying and pasting some stuff that you find on Google into a synonym generator. God, do I hate those things. And it's always so obvious when you use one, folks, because the AI for those things does not always pick up on context. And words can mean very different things in different contexts. So that someone might say that something was, so you might have a thing where someone was saying something that it was meant to be very, very metaphorical by saying something was a table when they mean to say that something was very flat. And then suddenly here's this synonym generator that finds some sort of synonym for the word table, and it makes absolutely no sense in context with anything else.
It's a desk.
Yeah.
They're really bad.
Armoire.
Yeah.
Some
the
weird
buffet, in which is a metaphor.
Yeah. The wide buffet of trying to think like a synonym for grass,
For the green foliage.
Yeah, the foliage. Yes, yeah, there you go.
The hay. The buffet of the hay.
Yeah. the buffet of foliage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you guys are going to be fine. Okay. You're going to do amazing on this exam. All right. The big thing is like, give yourself plenty of time to do it. Remember, it's not locked. We don't do this thing where, once you start it, you only have like an hour and 15 minutes. We leave it open for you for your benefit. So, one other thing, I know that Cole mentioned this and I mentioned it too. If you get to the prompts and you're immediately like, WTF did I just read? Like, do I even know English? Those are words. I don't know how they work. Like, if you find yourself in a place where you're just staring at it and you're like, none of this makes sense, please send us an email. Okay. We will try and help you. It's not going to be helpful if it's 2:00 in the morning for you, because I mean, I could be up at 2:00 in the morning, but like, do you want me to respond it to? Because if so, I've made really bad life choices. And I may not be fully coherent. I actually got way too much sleep last night, and I'm having a difficult time stringing sentences together as it is. I have to find the golden means. Either I am incredibly tired with 5 hours of sleep, and that's my normal thing, or I oversleep and get like what normal people have, which is 8, and I don't know what to do with that. So if I'm up at 2:00 in the morning, there's a good chance that I'm really not in my right frame of mind, because reasons, insomnia probably. So just send us an email and ask us for help. We'll try and clarify whenever we can, the same way that you would have the benefit if this were in person, that you could come up and ask.
Oh yeah.
So don't feel like you're floating alone in the universe without a towel. We will gladly help you. Sorry, that was a
I got the reference.
Yeah, that was a reference to Hitchhiker's Guide.
Yeah. Always know where your towel is.
Yeah, where is your towel? So that's, do you have anything else you want to talk about the exam before we talk about week 7?
I had something. There was something that you mentioned that put my mind there.
Ask for clarification.
Asking for clarification. But I was also going to say is that one, and I mentioned this in the study session as well, but I just want to go ahead and just reiterate it here, that I have a tendency to write my questions with sort of multiple parts, where it'll say something like, list certain things and discuss how this relates to something else. And one of the big things that ends up hurting a lot of students on that is that they will just write about the first part and then never contextualize it. Or you'll just literally give me a bullet point list, like this thing, this thing, this thing, this thing, and then never make any actual connections, right? I'm asking you to make connections. So read the whole thing, make sure that you're addressing everything that is mentioned.
Yeah. Hey, please, for my question, don't give me plot summary, because I read it. Like, so the rhetorical purpose of like an essay exam is to show what you know. So you telling me the plot of The Tempest is not at all what the prompt asked you to do, and it's not situationally appropriate because who assigned it?
Yeah.
So I am familiar, and you're writing for me. You're not writing for your audience for an essay exam. It's not the class. You're not trying to do that. You're trying to show me, the person who assigned the literature, who lectured over the literature, who might be seemingly knowledgeable on it, who even wrote the prompt that you are answering. You are trying to show me that you know the materials in the prompt. So please read both of our prompts carefully. Both of us will ask very specific things for you to do. So discuss this and connect it to this other work. How or why, explain means like, don't summarize. So don't worry if you have typos and stuff. Okay. Like that. I don't give a crap about that. Like, seriously, it's fine. Okay. And do me a favor. Don't just put like a period in there. Like, seriously, don't put a period in there. That's it. And that's all you put, because I'm going to be like, what happened here? All right.
It took me a second, but I remember the thing you're talking about.
If you just put a period in there because it won't let you submit your exam without something in there, do me a favor, explain what happened. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to be nosy. I am never going to shame you for whatever your choices are. Okay. But if you were like, man, I read this and I have no freaking clue what it is, I watched your lecture, it still didn't make sense to me. That is a moment where I will reach out to you. I mean, there's not much I can do for you on the exam, but I can definitely prevent that from happening next time. Okay.
Next.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, like I want to help. Cole wants to help. Like we genuinely want to help. So don't just put like N/A. No, it is applicable. Like that's what that means. N/A means not applicable. No, it is. Okay. You're supposed to answer the question. So don't just put a period. I don't care. And don't apologize. All right. Like, I'm sorry, I just didn't read it. Okay. What was going on? Was it too much? Was it too dense? Was it like intimidating as shit? Because it's Shakespeare, by the way. Shakespeare is not Old English, modern English. All right. Like you can hear Shakespearean English being spoken in lots of parts of the country. Milton has really bad spelling, but that's because dude was blind and spelling hadn't been formalized yet.
Yep.
You know how long it took Milton to write the Paradise Lost? Forever, because he had to sit here and keep rewriting it because he was blind. That's not even a joke. That's legit. That actually happened. He finally ended up getting a scribe who tried to make sense of it, and that person didn't spell well either. So I get it. It's Milton. He's fantastic though. Anywho, you're gonna be fine on the exam. All right. Please put something in there. Please trust yourself. All right. Don't panic at all because you know more than you think you do. So you're gonna be fine. And email us if you have questions about the exam when you're getting into it, okay? That was my uplifting. It was supposed to be. It didn't really. I tried. I don't know how to be touchy-feely. So I try in moments.
Well, yeah. And if there's like a little offshoot path that's going to take us down that way, it's just too hard to ignore. We gotta go down that path and then be like, oh, whoops, wait a minute. I was supposed to be on that path.
Yeah.
So next week 7, you're going to get material from both of us. It's a
doozy. It's a doozy.
Yeah, it is because when this class was still in the classroom, you'd have had in week 6 a class, and then you'd have had the exam, or vice versa, the exam and then a class, whichever. So you're getting the materials that you would have gotten over a week and a half, kind of like crammed in all at once. Plus,
and it's fun material too, because guess what? We're in the Enlightenment now.
Yeah.
So we're in philosophy and political theory and economic theory, and it's a whole new time. It's a
evolutions.
Yeah.
People getting sick of being hungry.
Yeah.
And
we're getting to the beginnings of all of these things needed to fall in place so we can discuss like the Industrial Revolution that's coming during the next era that we're going to cover. So yeah, thanks, humanist. Appreciate it. Look what you did. Why we can't have nice things.
Yeah. and it's going to be yet another group who's going to be looking back at ancient Rome and being like, hey, those guys had it figured out. Why aren't we doing that? Let's go back to what they were doing again.
Yes.
So it seems like we just can't quit that.
Well, and you've got a weird division happening within Europe too. So you got like within the European, the main continent of Europe, you're having like the Enlightenment happen, and it's fantastic. Those French, man, woo! They're really coming in, and they're like changing thought, and it's amazing. Meanwhile, Britain is doing something else.
Yeah.
They're kind of sort of like parallel. They're never gonna touch because reasons, but like they're there. So we have to cover both of those because overwhelmingly much of Europe is doing like the Enlightenment, thanks to the Renaissance and the humanists, in particular cultural relativism, and your like the post-colonial / imperial regimes. Meanwhile, Britain is like, hey, so we just killed like a monarch
Yeah.
We don't even know who we are right now, because we kind of like, who does that? Who kills their monarch? And the French are going to be in the background like, that's going to be us in just
Yeah,
a short time.
we do.
We will. And yeah, so you got the
then
Brits who
we'll-
just had
And then
this
we'll put
weird
somebody
thing.
who's every bit as horrible as the king was. We'll put that guy in place.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so just prepare yourselves, because during this time you're gonna have it's gonna be pretty heavy when it comes to the stuff that's coming from me. Okay. I'm not dismissing what Professor Cole is gonna present too. But you're gonna start seeing like the literature gets really, really dense and really, really complicated thanks to the neoclassical and the Enlightenment literature, which is gonna change the Western thought forever. Again,
Yeah.
like it's like 4.0, the version that we're on now.
Yeah, you're gonna
You're
get
gonna have a quiz, by the way, next week too. We're really sorry about it. I'm sorry I talked over you, Jason.
Yeah, you're fine. All I was saying was that you're gonna get a lot of discussions about certainly the philosophy from me, the philosophies, but also the weird wibbly wobbly state of gender roles during this time, because you got the, well, you'll see it, but you know, you got the rich folk who are all about to get their heads chopped off, but there's a certain amount of, interestingly, egalitarianism where women have a little bit of power there. And then the people who want their freedom and are sick of being hungry, who rise up, who are like, nope, let's go back to traditional gender roles. Men go out, work hard, and women stay home and take care of the kids. Like,
Yeah, it gets weird, y'all. So just prepare yourselves. Like after this exam, we would normally like kind of have a soft, cathartic, I don't want to say waste of a week, but it would be more like, hey, here's the information.
Yeah.
Just gel. It'll be fine. Not this week though. You're gonna have like a quiz. Like we're coming in hot. We're coming in like a wrecking ball. To quote Miley Cyrus in her Genius. Although
Yeah.
that's an old, I should pick something else. We're coming out like 50. Nope.
well, I don't know. I mean,
We're just gonna be a presence.
after the Super Bowl, he's relevant again, you know.
Yeah. So, whoa, he was okay. Well, whatever. So you're gonna get a quiz, and it's gonna have content. Half the questions are gonna come from the stuff that I assign. It's gonna be from me, and half from Jason. I recycled a video from last semester again because it was really, really good, and I kept it really short. And by short, I mean like it's like 39 minutes, giving you the indications of what you need to know just generally. I don't have a lecture specifically on the Leviathan or Kant or Locke. And the reason why is I included some very short, funny little 8-bit philosophy explanations to help you better appreciate the text when you read it. And they are short. Like I think one of them is like maybe 12 minutes. So, and they're fun. And then I also included an 8-bit philosophy video. Like, do we need government? I am not in any way, shape, or form suggesting that you overthrow the government. I was mainly because of the time frame that's happening with this social theory and political theory, that this is like an offshoot of what's happening with the Enlightenment.
Mhm.
So all of my little supplemental videos are supposed to help kind of complement the reading that you do from those. I mean, if you want to go to Wikipedia and get a generic explanation, go for it. I just didn't feel the need to like summarize the texts for you in that regard, so that way you can get the information that you need from that. So
yeah,
that's everything.
Anything
else?
I was just going to say, I ended up using my my old lecture recordings this time as well, but it's just because I'm just not a fan of Rococo art, and the idea of sitting down and recording and talking about that stuff right now, when I've got enough going on in my life, I was like, nah. I'll just eat meat.
Listen, I agree, man. Like there comes a time when you're like, man, I'm good. Like I did a great job. I'm never gonna get any better. I'm gonna do it.
And in the recording, I even go ahead and give sort of a disclaimer where I'm like, listen, I can't stand this stuff. I've never liked this stuff, and I'm going to try to be as my brain won't come up with the word.
I literally have no idea where you're going. I can't.
I'm going to try to. I'm going to try to not let that come through. I'm going to try to remain neutral. That's the term I'm looking for. But then I was like watching the video, and like there's still a couple moments where I bring up an image, and I kind of go, okay, so and I start trying to talk about it. And I was like, yep, I feel you, 2021, Jason. I feel you.
So I've been making jokes about how I don't know what year I'm in.
Uh-huh.
You know, and it became very clear to me when a former student of ours, who I'll tell you about later, came by to let me know that they're graduating this semester. I was like, what? What? And they're like, yeah, I'm graduating. I was like, how's that? Like, we just had you. And the student was like, no, I had you spring of 2020. And I was like, the hell? What? And I just had a moment where I was like, something's wrong. I should probably somehow or whatever, my body is just like mentally taking care of me insofar as like that trauma of whatever's been happening since COVID 2020 semester. I have just all grouped that together, and it's just there is no like delineation or anything. It is just one chunk of time where I have no idea what year it is. So I mean, I've been writing the date out correctly, but I was just at a loss where I was like, has it been 2 years since you were in our class? Yeah, I'm graduating. I was like, the hell? What? And then I yelled at him and I said, get out of my office. Like, how dare you do that to me? Like, you're just making me have like, I'm already living in an existential.
Get out.
Yeah. How dare you tell me that time exists? Let me be stagnant and stuck, please and thanks. Yeah, so anywho, that's all I've got. Just I don't even know what year it is half the time. I'm like, where are we? I exist, therefore I am, you know.
That would have been that would have been he was in the Baroque period. Descartes.
Okay, so that's actually Voltaire.
I think, therefore I am.
No, I exist, therefore I am. I didn't say
sorry.
I think.
I understand. Gotcha.
Wow, we're done. You're done. You're done.
I already explained that my brain is kind of mush.
I know, but I was like, so okay. I may not agree with what you say, but I'll fight to the death to support it. That's allegedly Voltaire too. So
yeah,
welcome. I actually am not assigning anything from Voltaire, but he's in your PowerPoint that I gave, or my Google slides that discusses this era. I don't know what kind of uplifting song to play. I really honestly just want to do something dark and demotivational, just because that's who I am as a person. Okay. But that's not appropriate, I think, for the students. So I am just picking some random, just whatever. I should probably share my music though. I should do that. Let's do that. Do you have anything you want to add, Jason?
No, just good luck, guys. Let us know if you have any technical issues or any clarification questions.
And please make sure you're on your Bethel email. There was a couple people who had some issues where they were logged in, they thought, and it was actually their personal and their quiz we had to do something with. So before you begin, make sure that you're in your appropriate credentials and you have a good battery and all that. Okay.
Yeah. If you're borrowing your boyfriend's laptop, go ahead and sign into your own account.
Yeah, and double check your iPad too, guys, because sometimes you guys have like it running in the background. You're running you're in your like you have an app that you're using to check your email. Make sure that you log out of your personal email with that app, because even though you're in Chrome on your iPad or whatever, it for some reason Apple and Google,
Yeah.
they're fighting it up. That's all I got.
Yep, that is all I have as well.
All right, here we go. It was supposed to be motivational. Whether it actually is or not, we'll see.
Okay.
If you can't be strong, yeah, it's worth taking to have a life worth living.
Motivational, sure.
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone.